Hi everyone, welcome back to Aidans Railways. You're actually joining me halfway through something that I started, but it won't matter because I've got to reassemble it anyway. But a while back, maybe several months ago, I was when I was purchasing some stuff in the model shop, there was this Mainline models warship, diesel hydraulic warship there, and it didn't work. Nobody looked at it or anything like that, and I think I ended up paying about £5 for it. It was something ridiculously silly. I actually originally looked at it for a completely different project. Whether or not I do that project with this or not, I don't know, but I looked at it for something completely different because it didn't work. However, under closer inspection, I've sat down and, as you can see, I've took the entire thing to bits. Under closer inspection, I've actually worked out exactly why it doesn't work, and it's really, really such a simple fix. So it may end up staying like this, but I thought I would record this and then you can see exactly what's going on. Anyway, the motor bogies at that side, it's actually got directional lights at this end and at this end, and you can just see the diodes are soldered on up by the motor there for the lighting, and it would just, all it would do is actually, it would just illuminate the head codes there. That's all it would do at either side. And rather interestingly, and I didn't notice this until now, someone has actually added crew inside. You can actually just see their feet poking out the bottom there. Not at the other side though, just at one side. So if you are interested, it's actually the warship class that it is. The actual logo is Hermes. I don't know how well that will actually show up, but there you go. It's actually it's not in bad condition, to be perfectly honest. Considering the project that I was going to use it for would mean actually hacking it to bits, so I'm not too sure whether that'll happen now. But anyway, I was going to put that to one side. This is similar to the Lima Westerns and things like that. That's actually just the bottom of the non-motored bogie, although it does look like a motored bogie. There's actually just a weight inside there. You can probably just see it moving around to hold it down, and it just sits in there. It just clips in, but I'll show you better when I put it back together anyway. But I've took that apart because it turned out that these two wires here and this wire here weren't even attached to this bogie, which is actually for its pickup. There's no power drawn from that bogie at all at this side. There's absolutely no power being collected, which is exactly why it's not working. I have established that those wires need to be at that side and this needs to be at this side, but you can see the actual pickups there where they should be soldered with the wires, and the same on the opposite side. I've given them a little clean where they need to be soldered. Basically all I need to do is actually solder these back on, but I'm going to take a closer look at the wires themselves, and they may need to be trimmed and things like that. So it's hard to tell because there isn't a lot of room, and these wires need to pass through here in order for me to actually solder them on. So there isn't a lot of room to play with. So I'm going to turn the soldering iron on, get that warmed up now. Right, the soldering iron has heated up now. I've got one of these brushes here, dead cheap. It's not a toothbrush, or at least I wouldn't dare brush my teeth with these. But it's quite solid, it's metal. I've just cleaned up this side. You can see there the colour difference of where I'm going to attach the wire, and I'm just going to do this side now. I'm just gently rubbing it over the top. I want it to be reasonably clean when I solder these wires on, because I don't want to have to make this into a regular occurrence, and that's made a huge difference there. Right, out of the way. got a really, this is just a cheap screwdriver. It came with, I think it was a screen for an iPhone. It came with. I'm just gonna lift this terminal up, not very much. I just want it away from the plastic. I'm going to do the same with the opposite side, as I really don't want it up against the plastic when I'm doing this. So this side, and this is where it's going to become very tricky. Let's move that wire out of the way. And I don't want to damage the frame if I can help it, especially if this loco can be salvaged. So all I'll do is, I've got these wires here. The solder on there looks particularly dry, to be honest, anyway. I'm not surprised that that one's actually come off at some point, so just want to try and clean that up a bit. There we go. So I've twisted those two together. I'm going to run some new solder over there. Nicely done. That's nicely cleaned up. I've got the terminal sticking up, ready for these wires. Now this is the tricky bit. I'm just going to see if I can, there we go, tin up the terminal it's going to go onto, and then I'm just going to apply some heat with both pieces. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm not 100% happy with that. And I'm going to try again. Obviously, it's quite restricted here, purely because of the length of the wire that's actually there. Right, that appears to be fitted. Now, having a little bit more space at this side, right, get that solder off. Tin this side again. And the same process on this side of the bogie. So we know we've got something to attach to. Right. So I'm just going to feed the wire through so that I can hold it with these pliers. I really don't know how well you can see any of this, but that's that wire now attached. As you can see, there isn't a huge amount of space to work with. Right, so I'm happy they're fixed now. I now need to clip this on. It's just this bottom of the bogie here, it really does just clip on. Similar to your HST, the old Hornby HST, in the way that it's actually fabricated together. So that's in. Let's see if we can get a better look. Now one side of this actually has an area that it will slide into. It's this side. There you go, you can just see there, there's a little tooth. And it just holds it on. Now this side doesn't have it because you have to place this little piece of plastic in place and then screw it. Right, so the bogey's in, there's this piece of plastic, it's got a little pin, I don't know if you can make that out at the top, and that, if I don't drop it, locates into this hole in the very centre at the top. There's a screw hole here, and that's where our screw goes into. And this simply just stops the bogie falling out of the shell. It's all very plastic, so you don't have to over tighten this, or try not to over tighten it, I should say. There we go, that's it. That's now not going to fall out. And it's all held in place. And the wires are there doing their job. Now before I actually put this all back together, I want to test it. So I'm just going to bring into the screen the rolling road. I don't think it's important to see the wheels going round, but definitely you'll be able to hear it should it start working, or rather I hope it does start working. But I have a feeling that this is all that was actually the matter with this model. That looks good. Right. Vintage transformer. And lo and behold, well, it would appear that one of the bulbs doesn't work and one does, which might account for why we've got a crew in one side. So if I make sure I put it on that way, we'll be all right. But that runs wonderfully in both directions. So all the problem was there was contacts for the pickup. So let's put this shell back on. You see rather huge cumbersome weight, but it's actually screwed down. There's nothing to this. I just need to make sure I don't trap the wires. So body shell, bottom shell, chassis I should say, and then it's just placing it back together. And, that's back together. Now there's just two screws to locate, one there, turn it around, see if you can see better with this one. Just the back of the bogie on the chassis, you can actually just drop the screw in and tightened up, and there we are. Maroon BR D823 Hermes Warship class diesel. Let's see if now it's all back together, it's still going to run. So how well you're going to hear this at the moment, because I don't really have it sitting on the rolling road properly, but I think you can just see how illuminated the head code is. And we just say make out our two driving staff in the front there. Not a bad model. It's a very cheap model considering the fact it was about $5 I paid for it. I'm sure it wasn't much as a non-runner, and that was the only problem. I'm just going to slow that down now. There we go. It makes an awful noise when it vibrates on this rolling road. Anyway, there we go. I thought I would share that with you. Not a bad model. Mainline model railways. I don't know who has the mouldings for them now, but Mainline model railways warship class locomotive. A little repair job. So don't dismiss these. If you see one of these and it's a non-runner, potentially there's not an awful lot it could be. A couple of bushes maybe on the motor. Or it could just be as simple as those contacts. Hopefully if you have a similar situation, that's all it is. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thought I'd share that with you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye now.